Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast for all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time. I'm Pastor Pope, Senior Pastor of New Life Christian Center, located at 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. And if you're ever in our area, we invite you to come and worship with us at 10 o'clock every Sunday morning at New Life Christian Center. We invite you to come and experience a better quality of life. And if you're not in our area, as always, you can tune in, invite your family, friends, co-workers, and colleagues to tune in also wherever you are across the U.S. and wherever you are around the globe, to tune in on our YouTube channel at New Life Christian Center Pastor Pope. We go live with the Sunday sermon at 10:45 a.m. And as always, we are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12 p.m. until 1 p.m. or 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to discuss whatever topics you might like to discuss right here, live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships, whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind. God is concerned about that which concerns you. And so we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you will save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And right now you can sip and save for Labor Day, 50% off on a one-time order of any bottle size from FijiWater.com. You don't want to miss that. And so for those of you who know that we are constantly in the midst of our FijiWater.com sponsored promo every month for the remainder of this year, we've been doing this for month after month, you will have the opportunity to win, be selected to win a case of Fiji water from Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. All you have to do is go to our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com. The first three songs you hear at 11 a.m. or at 6 p.m., list those three songs along with your name and your email address. Text them to the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. One of our listeners and viewers, each month, one of our listeners and viewers will be selected to win a case of Earth's finest water from FijiWater.com. The more you enter, the more opportunity you have to win at FijiWater.com. I want to thank all of you who continue to give on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware. Those of you who have used the contribution pages on our websites at New Life Ministries International.com and New Life International CDC.com, and those of you who use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube, we thank all of you for your continued support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated you really need to get your finances in order. You said, how can you do that without disrupting your lifestyle? Well, let me first of all say this. What you're going to need to do to get your finances in order is to, first of all, and I've said this many, many times to many listeners and viewers, you've got to establish a budget. If you don't have a budget, send me an email at newlifepastor@comcast.net. I will send you a copy of a budget, front and back. Fill the entire budget out. Because you need to understand where your finances, what you're doing with your finances. You know, I tell everyone has a budget. Some people have larger budgets than others, but it doesn't matter how much capital you have, how many resources you have available, how many streams of income you have coming in. None of that makes any difference. Everyone has a budget. You just may have a larger budget than someone else. So you have to think about it in these terms. Whatever you have coming in on a consistent basis in the way of revenue or income, and what you have going out is going to determine the balance of your lifestyle. The one thing you don't ever want to do is spend more than you have. You don't want to spend more on expenditures than you have on income or revenue. Now, I know, for those of you that are building a business and are business owners, there's going to be some ebbs and flows of that because of, receipts, because of, customer base. There's going to be ebbs and flows. That's not what we're focused on right now. It's just about budgeting so that you have a clear understanding of where your resources are going when you allocate for expenditures and where your income or revenue is coming in from whatever career, business, whatever you may have generating income or revenue. However, having said that, the one way that you're going to be able to get your finances in order, and it is going to require you to disrupt your lifestyle for a period of time, and this is what you need to remember, is that when you are getting your house in order, getting your finances in order, your lifestyle is going to be impacted a bit because you have to reduce your spending. You have to make a conscious decision that that you are going to reduce your monthly expenditures. And obviously the first place that that's going to be impacted is entertainment. You have to reduce your entertainment expenses before you do anything else, because that's where you are allocating money that is not necessary. So you're going to have to reduce your entertainment expenses, which is going to disrupt your current lifestyle because you've been spending more than you should on entertainment. Then you have to think about it in these terms. You've got to put your money on a mission. So, budget, reduce spending, place your money on a mission. And what that looks like is now you have to decide how you're going to be more effective allocating capital. Where am I going to spend my money? Where am I going to direct my money so that it is most effective for my lifestyle? So, there is going to be a brief disruption in your current lifestyle because you're doing too much. But once you get your finances in order, you'll be able to determine where you're going to allocate your capital and how your money is going to be allocated for your mission, what you're trying to accomplish. And that has to be real important. So we got to think about it in these terms. First of all, you've got to run your life like a solvent corporation. You've got to run your life like any other corporation in America that is solvent, which means you have a certain amount of income, you have a certain amount of expenditures. Some of them are fixed and some of them are variable expenses. So you have to base what you're doing in your lifestyle on some of those factors. And then there's going to be some variables in addition to that, factors that are going to be important for you to get a clear understanding of how those ebbs and flows occur and how that moves. So, your mortgage or rent is a fixed expenditure. Mortgage is definitely a fixed expenditure. Rental is going to fluctuate it's going to go up every year. But you know that, so you have to take that into consideration. But mortgage is going to be a fixed cost. Automobile is going to be a fixed cost, whether it is that you own your vehicle or whether you're making payments on the vehicle. it's going to be a fixed cost. Because if you don't have payments to make on a vehicle, you have the cost of ownership. So no matter how new your vehicle may be, there may be scheduled services for your vehicle, which means you know what those scheduled services are going to be each year. Now, there may be at certain mileage points where that will change, but you need to know that, and you just need to be prepared for that also. But if you're making a monthly payment on a vehicle, that's a fixed expense. You can get a pretty clear picture of what your expense is going to be on gas and maintenance. So all of those things are going to be expenses that you can pretty much fix to a level that allows you to calculate your budget effectively and efficiently. If you set aside $100 a week for gasoline, then you know, even if it only requires you $75 to fill up your tank, you know that you're within budget. I'm saying all of this to say your money has to be on a mission every hour of the day. You've got to know where your money's going and why it's going out. What's the purpose? What return on investment am I going to get? Well, first of all, you have commuter costs. That's what I mean by gasoline. The cost of ownership of your vehicle. It's still commuter costs. Everything can be categorized so that you have a very clear picture of your budget. But the first thing you're going to want to do is reduce your entertainment expenses. And I encourage everyone to do that, because entertainment for most people is the biggest disruption in their quality of life. They're so busy trying to be entertained that they feel like they've got to be doing something all the time, and there's a cost to doing something all the time. Whatever you're doing, there is a cost to it. So you have to recognize if you are, going out multiple days per week, there's a cost to that, whatever that might be. Whether it's cost of transportation or whether it is cost of food and beverage, there's a cost to that. You have to look at that cost, and if you are going out, let's say half the week, 3 to 4 times a week, you can immediately create a reduction in your expenses, in your expenditures, by just limiting it to 1 day a week, no more than 2 days a week, or maybe 1 day every other week. You just got to decide what's most important to you at this point in your life. And if you say entertainment is most important to you, there is a problem, because there's no way that entertaining oneself should be more important than building a great quality of life and making certain that you have not only resources to do what you need to do, but at some point in time you have resources to do what you want to do. This is the time when it's all of our highest earning capacity. Once you get to age 70, your earning capacity will decline dramatically. And you've got to be prepared to take care of yourself in the later years. You're not there yet. You're 49. So you're still in your highest. I know people will tell you, oh no, your highest earning capacity is from 25 to 45. Well, I disagree with that. You can earn long beyond those years. But you're 49 now, so it's really time to stop focusing on hanging out with your girls and just doing the things you want to do to entertain yourself because you're not in a relationship, and focus on building the great quality of life that you not only desire, but you deserve. I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, let's make certain that we are working to maximize our success for all of us. I'm going to be encouraging you to do that for the remainder of this year. As we go into the new year, I'm going to be encouraging everyone to find ways now to focus on maximizing our success. That's going to be real important to all of us. Wherever you are across the U.S. and wherever you are around the globe, it's no different for any of us. We all should be working to maximize our success. And even if you don't feel that you've been successful thus far, that's part of the step to getting to a place where you maximize your success. Because we all want to eventually, or should want to eventually, enter into the fullness of God. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill. And if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated you gave your you gave your friend's daughter a gift that your friend gave you before she passed away. You said the gift was special to you. However, you thought it would mean something to her daughter to have this gift that she had given to you. However, the daughter has not even acknowledged your kindness. So let me just take you through something here. First of all, the fact that you were willing to give something that meant something to you was certainly a kind act. And you indicated in your communication, I didn't read this part or share this part out loud, but you said it was okay and it was sudden. Well, it was sudden that your friend passed away. But let me say this to you. No man knows the hour nor the day. So none of us know, and none of us are getting out of this alive. The fact that your friend gave you something before she passed, and the gift was special to you, but you thought it would be kind to share it with her daughter. You have to make a decision within yourself that what you did was out of the kindness of your heart. Now, I know you might, pardon me, my allergies once again are bothering me. I know you thought you were giving her this gift with kindness because it would mean something to her. And that's a great thing. It's a very kind act and gesture. For her not to acknowledge it isn't the important thing. One of the things you have to realize is that, first of all, her daughter is, because it was suddenly, I'm certain that her daughter is still grieving. That's one thing. But here's another thing. So it's been a little time, but you don't know how long someone's going to grieve. You just have no way of knowing that. The second thing is, everyone doesn't have the same level of awareness. So you knew it was an act of kindness, and accept that it was your act of kindness, that you didn't expect a reward, although it would have been appropriate. The reward would have been for her to acknowledge your kindness. I get it. But it's not the important factor, because now you know what you're dealing with. That's one thing you learn. She doesn't have the same spirit as her mother. And she may have even though she may be going through her own grief, she also may be someone who has a sense of entitlement. So she doesn't feel the necessity to acknowledge your kindness. In her mind, you gave it to her, and that was very kind. But sometimes people don't take the time to do what is the right thing to do. The right thing would be to acknowledge your act of kindness. But But you can rejoice in the fact that you had enough kindness in your heart to do something special for someone let me rephrase that, whose mother has passed away. Pardon me. The reason I rephrase that is because I'm going to say this because I want everyone to grab hold of this. I have changed my language about, or make the effort to change my language about people passing. They've passed one side or the other. But if they're saved, they're not lost. So we know where they are, and we can work on that premise. One of the things we have to do is accept the fact that people are who they are. Now, at some point in time, she may come to a level of awareness where she will say to you, she will reward you by saying, I acknowledge your act of kindness. But we don't do things expecting someone to respond to us the way we want them to respond. An act of kindness is just that. It's an act of kindness. And you can rejoice in that. The fact that you took out the time to reach out to her, it's your friend's daughter, is something that you can rejoice in because she needed that. She just doesn't have the tools necessarily to navigate in an appropriate period of time or at all to say thank you to you for your kindness. And unfortunately, everyone's not going to do that. Unfortunately, there's people who are self-centered, there are people who are self-consumed, that people who have a sense of entitlement, who don't feel the necessity to thank someone for an act of kindness. But it's okay, because you get to rejoice in your kindness. And this is something I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, because this is good for all of us to be mindful of. One of the things that we sometimes encounter along the way is when we are doing something for someone that we know is going to benefit their life. However, they don't have enough vision to see that it will benefit their life. Many people just want to go through life doing what they want to do the way they want to do it. And nothing else matters to them. Now, that's a hard road to drive and a hard life to live. However, people do it every day. When people show you who they are, and we're all guilty of this one, people will show us who they are and we still don't want to believe them because we think if I can just get them to see the big picture, it will make everyone's life so much better. But people who are who they are, and when they show you who they are, you have to believe them. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. If you are in the market for a high-performance automobile, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com, where you will have the opportunity to virtually build out the Porsche you desire to own. And if you're in our area, you can simply go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Didio, who is the General Sales Manager of PorscheDelaware.com. He will have someone assist you in selecting the Porsche you desire to own. And if you are in our area and you currently own a Porsche, go to PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Adams, who is the Service Manager at PorscheDelaware.com. He will have someone schedule an appointment for you. They will pick up your vehicle at your home or office and return your vehicle to you when your service has been completed at PorscheDelaware.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated you have been quite frustrated lately by so many things. You said nothing particular, however, every nuisance has resulted in stress, frustration and stress. So I'm going to take you through something that we actually talked about last night in Bible study, and that is a renewed spirit. It's time for you to reset. It's time for you to reset your body, mind, and spirit. So this will kind of take me into another communication also, but I'm going to do it anyway. So when we reset our bodies, we have to do some different things. And I'll remind everyone, with us, we have a monthly contributor, Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, BeccaTheDietitian.com, who shares with us information every month about our diet, our nutrition, our health, our wellness, diet and exercise, right? And she shares these things with us, and if we try these different things, we will find that it will enhance our health and wellness. So, reset your body, diet and exercise. Now, one of the things that, and I'll just share this, I've recently shed a few pounds, and one of the reasons is because I want to put on some more muscle. And the reason I want to put on more muscle is because the older we get, the more we need to build muscle. So in order that my weight doesn't go over my desired limit, my self-imposed limit, I had to shed some weight in order to put on some muscle, which I'm going to be working on that also. So I have lost some weight by just doing some different things, eating differently, working out differently. There are things you can do that, whether you have a gym membership, which we do, or whether you work out at home, there are things you can do to exercise. For those who are walkers, those of us who are runners, there are things we can do that will allow us to get exercise, to reset our bodies. What we eat is going to reset our bodies also. The next thing you have to work on is the mind. So you have to reset the mind. Stop thinking about the negative things and focus on the positive things. If you have a lot of negative thoughts going through your mind, it's going to cause you to become more frustrated about other things. Clear your mind out of the negative things, and even when they creep up, in your mind, start really getting laser focused on some positive things. Now, when you have people around you who are negative also, it'll make it more difficult. But you can still do it. Just focus on the positives of what is happening right now and the plan that you have for the future. Eliminate the negative thoughts. You'll find that you'll start to be less frustrated. And since there's nothing particular that you can put your finger on that's making you frustrated, you said just every little nuisance is now causing you stress. We know stress is a killer. So the one thing you don't want to do is, and this is why you have to reset your mind, is because you don't want to allow stress to become a health issue. So you have to reset the mind. And then you have to renew the spirit. So this is where I'm going. We talked a lot about this last night in Bible study, a renewed spirit. Just asking God for a clean heart and a renewed spirit. None of us are perfect. We're all going to sin. We're all going to make mistakes. We're even going to perhaps make some decisions that are not necessarily the best decisions. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, if we just ask God, give me a clean heart and renew a right spirit. Because sometimes we have the wrong spirit. And the wrong spirit will come upon us and it will cause us to be frustrated. It will cause some anxiety. It will cause some depression. It will cause some stress that will stress you out to a point where it begins to impact your health. None of us need that. We cannot allow that to happen because it's not going to benefit the quality of our lives. And you all know by now, I'm big on the quality of life. You don't want to allow anything to disrupt your psyche. You don't want to allow anything to disrupt your peace. You want to focus on the positive things and eliminate the things that may cause negativity or that are negative in your life. So we want to renew the spirit. So the body, the mind, the Bible says, think on those things that are lovely, think on those things that are pure, think on those things that are good report. Think. The way you think is going to determine the quality of your life. How you think about positive things is going to determine the quality of your life. You cannot spend time on things that are not lovely. You cannot spend time on things that are not pure. You cannot spend time on things that are not of a good report. If people are bringing you comments and negativity that's disrupting your psyche and your peace, eliminate it. Keep them out of your life. Don't allow them to enter into that secret place that you dwell. You know, we went out the door last night talking about this after Bible study. He or she that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide in the shadow of the Almighty. God's shadow is not going anywhere. There's a place of peace and rest there. But you've got to renew the right spirit. And the right spirit is a spirit that is filled with the love of God and the mercy of God. And we have to stay in our place of peace. And don't allow anything to disrupt that. And if you do that, you're going to find that you will have less frustration, which will not only reduce but eliminate stress, so that we can stay healthy. We can have a sound mind. Our mind's not all over the place dealing with constant nonsense. We don't need to allow anything to disrupt our peace. Stay in your peace. Find your peace, and then remain in your peace. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Comcast Business. If you, well, not you, we all need to be more effective in and efficient in business. Go to Comcast Business, call Eunice at 603-222-7706. Your code is Pastor Pope. And with a qualifying bundle, you will receive up to an $800 prepaid Visa gift card. Comcast Business will help you be more effective and efficient in business. Contact Eunice at 603-222-7706. Your code is Pastor Pope. And with a qualifying bundle, you will receive up to an $800 prepaid Visa gift card. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you do not feel that you have enough time for yourself. You said you need to step away from the responsibilities of everyday life, and you want to know what can you do that will not take you too far off course. So, simple answer to that. And I've heard this from a lot of people. I've seen this from a lot of people. Simple answer to that is start getting some exercise. You can take time out. You don't have to step away, because that will take you off course. But you can take time out to get some exercise. And exercise will allow you to begin to feel that you have more time for yourself, for some self-care. Exercise. Just do some exercise every day. Some form of exercise. You know, I was working out this morning, and I was thinking about my next workout, because I wasn't thinking about anything else, because I decided that I wasn't going to focus on anything else while I was working out this morning. And then I started thinking about my next workout. And I said to my wife, and I'm paraphrasing, but I'm praying that it's not raining tomorrow morning so that I can get out and get a run in. You know, I want to get out and run 4 miles in the morning. So it's exercise, because if I can get out there to exercise, then I can just be in the presence of God. I don't have to think about anything else. All I have to focus on is planting my feet right and making certain that my body stays in rhythm. You can find time to care for you if you just exercise. That'll give you the time you needed, because most people aren't going to work out with you anyway, so you're not going to have to worry about anyone bothering you while you're exercising. Little humor for the day. But the reality is, it gives you the opportunity to care for you. Now, you may use, for example, my run tomorrow morning. You may use some of that time to think about, if you're a runner, what's next? What's on my agenda next? Or what do I have to accomplish next? But I'll encourage you, because I won't be doing that tomorrow. I can tell you right now, as I sit before you, that I'm not going to be thinking about anything else tomorrow morning when I run, God willing it doesn't rain here, except planting my feet on solid ground so I don't trip and hurt myself, because I don't need an injury, and making certain that my body stays in rhythm. That's all I'm going to focus on. And sometimes that's all it takes. You don't have to step away. You can work feverishly every day, full work schedule, full business schedule, but take some time out to exercise. That is going to give you self-care. Time for self-care. Now, if you're not into that, maybe reading for an hour will do that for you. However, I will say exercise is going to be something that will give you the self-care that will help you to feel as though your responsibilities are not overwhelming you. And that's really all you can ask for, because we all have busy lives. Some lives are busier than others, but we all have busy lives. But to God be the glory that He has assigned all of us something to do that will fulfill the purpose that He's placed in each and every one of us. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Fiji Water at FijiWater.com. Sip and save for Labor Day. Save 30% off on a one-time order of any bottle size at FijiWater.com. Sip and save for Labor Day. 30% off. You don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss having Fiji Water delivered right to your front door from FijiWater.com before Labor Day. Save 30% at FijiWater.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you recently inherited your childhood home You said it would provide you with a significant amount of money to enjoy life, and you want to know if you should sell the home at this time. So let me tell you this. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not an attorney. The thought of you taking a tangible asset that is now paid for, which you now own free and clear, no mortgage payments. Sure, you have property taxes, but no mortgage payments. You have only utilities and the cost of ownership. But you don't have a mortgage. What I would recommend that you do, and you know, I was prayerful about this as I am about all the communications that come in, because you don't want to make a mistake with this. So what I would encourage you to do is contact your bank first of all. Find out, I was reading an article early this morning, I think mortgage rates are now at about 7%. So determine the value of the home. Find out what a mortgage payment would be on that home at 7.25, whatever it is right now. They'll tell you. Whatever percentage mortgage rates are right now. Find out what that mortgage payment would be on that property, and put that amount of money aside every month out of your current income. Do that. Don't sell the home. If you put that mortgage, what would have been a mortgage payment aside, you'll have enough to cover whatever cost of ownership there is throughout the course of the year. But you will find that you save a significant amount of money, and you still have an asset that is free and clear. So contact your attorney, talk to an accountant, but talk to your banker and find out what the property, you can go online and find out what the property's worth. But go on, you got to do a little research. But you can look at what the cost of the property is and what a mortgage payment would be for you at the current rate, and put that money aside every month. And you will find that a year from now, let's backdate it to July 1st. Let's just say that next July 1st, you will be amazed at how much money you will have saved. And then you can look at doing some additional investing, but you will be amazed at how much money you will have saved. Even with the cost of ownership, just doing things around the house that may need to be done, but your parents actually kept the home in very good condition. It was your childhood home. But that's what you want to do so that you can save money and live at the current standard of living that you're living right now. You don't need to go out and enjoy yourself just because you feel like it's a windfall. Don't sell the house. You really have an asset, and you want to maintain that asset. You may have some other advantages. That's why I told you talk to a lawyer, talk to the accountant, talk to an accountant, because you may have some other advantages that you're not aware of. So just take it step by step. Do not decide to put the property on the market and sell. I know people are saying, it's a seller's market. Well, now it is a seller's market. Remember, for a long period of time, we were in a seller and a buyer's market. And the reason sellers were getting premium for their homes and buyers were getting interest rates that were virtually free money. And let me tell you what free money looks like. You can invest in the stock market, which will generate approximately 8% annually. On average, it has generated 8% annually. And you get an 8% return on your investments. And you get a mortgage rate that is 3%. You have a 5% difference. 5%. difference. Net. You got to realize that for many borrowers was free money. So it was a buyer's market also. But now, still, it's okay if someone's purchasing a home, they need to purchase a home, they're starting a family and rates are 7.25, whatever they are. You may be able to get a preferred rate depending on your credit from your bank. It may reduce some of the cost, but primarily mortgage rates now are at about 7%. I read that article this morning, so that's basically what it is. But it hasn't hit double digits, so it's still feasible. I hear a lot of talking points saying, the American dream is gone now. The dream, you've been awakened. No, that's when you get over 8%. 8% is the break-even point. Over 8%, it's no longer a buyer's market. You have to wait to see when markets adjust and when mortgage rates adjust, and there's a lot of variables once again. But you don't have that issue. You have an asset. You have an asset that you don't need to do anything with anytime soon. You can wait until it's a seller and a buyer's market again. You can wait till then, if that's what you decide to do, but I wouldn't recommend it. As long as look, anybody that inherits a property that is not in disrepair, you have an asset. You can bring it back to where you need it to be, particularly if you don't have a mortgage on it. It just takes time. Everything takes time. Cost of ownership is real. But take your time, work step by step, and you will find that not only will you have, and a significant amount of money is a variable also, but not only will you have a significant amount based on you, on what you determine to be significant, but you will have money saved and an asset if you just try the method that I just gave to you, that was revealed, was a revelation of God, because you've got a great opportunity here. Let me just say that to you. You've got a great opportunity to do something great for your life. Your parents really blessed you. Your parents, unfortunately, you might not have appreciated them as much as you should have, because they've always blessed you. But what they've done now is bless you with something that's sustainable long term. It's a regret that your parents are no longer living. We pray to God for their salvation, because if they're saved, you know where they're going. And that's the good news. Now you have to take advantage of what they've set you up to experience for the remainder of your life, not just for some quick enjoyment and a moment of pleasure. Be still, pray, trust God, and you will be blessed exceeding abundantly above all that you can ask or think. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Nike.com, Nike Golf. If you are in the market to experience the game of golf, or if you're interested in enjoying a golf experience, go to Nike.com/golf. You will see everything that Nike has to offer for you to get out and enjoy the game of golf, experience the enjoyment of the game of golf. And if you're not interested in the game of golf, I don't know why, but another way of having some time to yourself. But if you're not interested in enjoying the game of golf, and you just want to enhance your health and wellness, go to Nike.com. You will see everything. Nike has everything that you could possibly need to enhance your health and wellness. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. who indicated your business is thriving. You said, however, you're now concerned about the impacts of a recession or the political climate that we are in. You want to know, what can you do to keep your business thriving? The immediate answer to that is just work. Stop worrying about what you don't have any control over. You have no control over a recession, but we know who does. God has control over a recession. God will make you recession proof. God has complete control over a recession. The political climate, God has control over that too, but man is involved. Just focus on what the work you have before you. Don't focus on, and stop listening to people who tell you that the sky is falling. Stop listening to people telling you that a recession is coming. If a recession comes, there's nothing you can do about it. You will have to live through it. Your business will continue thriving as long as you keep working and you keep doing what you know needs to be done. You will continue to thrive. Let me make sure, for you and every business owner out there, you can still thrive even during a recession. You may not thrive at the level that you're thriving right now, but you can still thrive. But you don't need to concern yourself about that. You just need to keep working. You need to focus your attention on the work that is before you, the work that needs to be done, and just do the work. You have a business plan. You have a plan for the years ahead. Continue to work your plan. And now I'm going to say to all of our listeners and viewers, I know people are hearing this over and over again because you keep sharing with me about, your concerns about the economy, your concerns about the recession. The recession isn't here. The economy is fractured, but the recession is not here yet. And you may be concerning about yourself about something that may never occur. What we do know is that everything is cyclical. Everything is a cycle. And there's going to be ebbs and flows. That's always necessary to remember. There's always going to be ebbs and flows. Why would you concern yourself? And again, this is for all of our listeners and viewers. Why would you concern yourself about a recession that, first of all, may never occur in this cycle, and you don't have any control over? Let's be wise about this. Not one of us has any control over a recession. Now, what we do have control over is, you talked about the political climate. You do have control over who you vote for. You get one vote. Make certain that you vote, and make certain that your candidate, his policies and procedures align with your vote. But once he gets in office, you got to accept whatever is done, because there's going to be negotiating behind the scenes that you're never going to see. And it will cause and affect some of the things that occur in our lifetime. That's why we have to be careful who we put in the halls of government to represent us. But at the end of the day, we all get one vote. You get one vote. Live with the results. Then just go back and do your work. Because your work is the only thing that's going to allow your business to thrive. Nobody else's. Yes, some employees are going to have an impact on your business. Hopefully you've got them to a place where they take on ownership. And if not, work to that end. That's just part of the work. But just keep working. Your business will continue to thrive if you keep working. If you stop working, if you get caught with like a deer in headlights with looking at the circumstances that occur in the economy, in the halls of government, in the political climate, you're going to get distracted. And it's hard to thrive when you are distracted. You might be able to survive, but it's hard to thrive when you are distracted. So focus on what you have to do to make certain your business continues to thrive. Do the work. Set all of the other stuff aside. Just do the work. If you do that, your business will continue to thrive. You know, I know this sounds, some of you may be sitting there saying, well, Pastor Pope, that sounds easy. No, it's hard. It's hard work. It's hard work to stay focused. It's hard work to eliminate distractions. It's hard work because there's so many things that occur around us on a daily basis. But you've got to be laser focused. And eventually what you're working to accomplish shall come to pass because it's God's assignment for your life. It's God's purpose for your life. And it shall come to pass. Continue doing the work. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated so many things have been happening in your life, and you said suddenly you have a family health issue that may disrupt the good things happening. You want to know, how do you prevent this from disrupting the good things? So let me say this. Health is another issue. Health is wealth. You can have all the wealth in the world, but if your health is not good, it's going to have an impact on your life. So you said suddenly a family health issue. Well, you can't ignore the health issue. However, you can work through the health issue. So, we are a collective of faith believers. Faith does not ignore fact, but faith overcomes fact. So the family health issue that you're dealing with right now, you can't ignore that it exists, but you can ignore the fact that your faith will overcome that. You have to believe, first of all, that God's word is true. And here's what he said. I am the Lord thy God which healeth you. He is your Lord God who will heal you. You have to believe that. Sure, you got a report from the physicians. The Bible says, whose report will you believe? And what you should believe is that God is the Lord your God, which will heal you and any family member that is suffering from illness. He will heal you. That's the first thing. Now you have some work to do because you have to go for your follow-up appointments. The doctors, we pray for their anointed hands, that they can care for you, provide the care needed to get the health issue resolved. God has anointed them for that, anointed the mind for that, most of them. But the reality is that your faith will allow you to prevent this from being a disruption. Your faith will do that. Your faith in God will allow you to keep working even through the family illness. You got to deal with it because it's present. And what I mean when I say deal with it is you have to believe that God will heal. You have to pray that God will strengthen you to go through this so that when you come out the other side, you'll be better than when you went in. You have to believe that, and you have to work to that end. But your faith is going to carry you through. Your faith believing, remember what I said earlier to one of our listeners and viewers, think on those things that are lovely, think on those things that are pure, And think on those things that are of good report. That is not a good report to have a health issue. But you have to work to overcome it. You have to do the work, and God will do the rest. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you will save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Remember, we are in the midst of our FijiWater.com sponsor promo. Go to our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com. The first 3 songs you hear